So literally this fragrance took freaking forever to get. There was so much hype and demand for it. So many of you guys have been asking me if I had it. This was before I went on my trip to Europe. I was looking for it during my trip to Europe. I found out it was strictly a limited release. Actually not limited. It was an exclusive release to the Middle East for a month. And then it was launching everywhere. I'm talking about Fleur de Desert from the house of Louis Vuitton. Comes in this bottle right here. I haven't really smelled it yet. It's still sealed. It doesn't come cellophane wrapped, but it is sealed, as you can see. I'm going to smell it for you guys on camera for the first time. Yes, I have been waiting for this. I am anticipating this. Still really into Ombre Nomade and Les Sables Roses. Those are my two favorites in this collection. Let's see if they stay my two favorites. I do like NUIT de Faux. That's the third fragrance that launched in this collection, and now we have Fleur de Desert. Is it any good? Have you guys tried it yet? Find out all about it coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, today we're talking about Louis Vuitton's latest release, Fleur de Desert. This is a 2022 launch. It's in the dark bottle Middle East exclusives kind of collection. In fact, when this collection first launched with Ombre Nomade, it was exclusive to the Middle East for a while. Then finally it came here to San Francisco, and it is readily available to buy there. Although these fragrances are also available to purchase on the Louis Vuitton website. But we have two Louis Vuitton boutiques here in San Francisco. One is connected to Bloomingdale's, one is a big flagship store. The Bloomingdale's one I don't think sells every one of these dark bottle fragrances, but definitely the one in the main store or the flagship store does. So if you're on the market for these, you can always order online, but you have to sample them prior, and they're very, very expensive. The large bottles are $5.35. But they did not have a large bottle of the Fleur de Desert yet. They said it's coming. The little bottles are $3.65, so 100 ml versus 200 ml. And what I was going to say about these fragrances is I mean, on the website, there was a place to purchase a 200 ml of Fleur de Desert. It did say it was out of stock. My sales associate told me it has not come in yet, so there's a little bit of a not correct information. Maybe they did have it on the Louis Vuitton website, maybe they didn't. Either way, I'll let you know all about this. I'm also going to let you know how it fits in the collection and where it ends up on the list, because currently Ombre Nomade is number 1, Les Sables Roses is number 2, the Nuit de Faux is number 3. So I'll let you know all about them. Before I do though, if this is your first time tuning into this channel and you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button below, and also click the bell so you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. Are you a fan of the Louis Vuitton fragrances? Are you a fan of Ombre Nomade? I know Ombre Nomade gets a lot of hype, but I think Les Sables Roses is also quite popular. They do layer really nicely together as well. But Louis Vuitton's Fleur de Desert is a 2022 launch. EDP concentration. Jacques Cavallier is the perfumer behind this and all the Louis Vuitton fragrances. He used to be at Firmenich from what I remember reading, and so now he is the in-house perfumer at Louis Vuitton. He also does Bulgari fragrances, and he's done a few recent Maison Margiela fragrances as well. I would call Fleur de Desert a amber floral fragrance. So let's see how this is going to be. I'm very, very excited. I wish I had a large bottle, but I guess we'll do with the little bottle. So here it is. Comes like that. It kind of reminds me a little bit of the Dior Privé collection fragrances. I do have to say, the Louis Vuitton fragrances are some of the best sprayers. They spray phenomenally. It sprays wonderfully. So the bottle is dark, as you can see here. Fleur de Desert basically translates to a flower of the desert. This has notes of jasmine, jasmine sambac, orange blossom, rose centifolia, Bulgarian rose, oud wood. And from what I read on the Louis Vuitton website, they are paying tribute to the 3 flowers that are signature to Grasse in the south of France there. Of course, the orange blossom grows there, the jasmine grows there, and then the rose centifolia grows there as well. And there's supposedly oud in here as well, so let's go ahead and smell it and see. I'm quite hoping that this is going to be really, really great, as good as something like Ombre Nomade, but I'm not 100% sure, so we'll see. Have any of you sampled this one already, and are you a fan of it? Right now I'm smelling it like this. It seems quite floral. Very, very interesting. To me, it's got a kind of a beachy vibe. Very creamy, very, very floral, very powdery as well. There seems to be a little bit of a honeyed experience there. I'm almost thinking like something like mimosa, because there's definitely like a major powdery element to this fragrance, and also a lot of like a beachy kind of a tropical flower. I'm not getting much oud yet. You know, this is quite nice. Is it as good as Nuit de Faux? You know, I would say this is a little better than Nuit de Faux. I've mentioned in past videos, I have a hard time wearing Nuit de Faux, and so it's incense, and it's also a very dark and cold fragrance. It's resinous and very smoky incense. This one's definitely got a brighter experience. I kind of like this. I'm not getting much oud though, I should say, but I think it would wear great. Let me spray it on me. Oh whoa, it's different on my hand. It's a lot more darker on my hand. On the strip, it's like bright and beachy. On my hand, it's a little more intense, like woody, oudy, ambery. It's even better on my hand, actually. This is really, really nice. It's a very floral experience, so if you like the idea of a floral fragrance, this is probably going to satisfy. I think the oud is more of an afterthought, but this is gorgeous. Really, really beautifully gorgeous. I really like it. Jasmine is very, very prominent. The orange blossom adds a kind of a citrus floral experience. Loads of rose as well. A little makeup-y, and definitely very, very powdery. And still it has, you know, it has a little bit of a beachy quality to it, but not as much on my hand as it is on the strip itself. Wears beautifully, really, really gorgeous. He did a good job on this one, but is it going to be better than Les Sables Roses? Let's see. So let me talk to you about Nuit de Faux. Nuit de Faux for me is number 4 in this series. Nuit de Faux is white incense, black incense, infusion of natural leather, oud wood, and it's a little peppery as well. There's like a peppery quality here. It does remind me a little bit of Nouveau Monde, but not a lot. Let's go ahead and spray it, and I can tell you a little bit more about this one. This was the third fragrance in this series, and I believe Nuit de Faux launched in 2020. Les Sables Roses launched in 2019. Or was it 2018? I'm drawing a blank with the dates now. But for me, this is a very peppery experience. I'm getting black pepper, also incense, like dark incense. They call it white incense, of all things. But there's also definitely kind of a peppery, like major peppery experience. It eventually settles to a leather. There's definitely a leathery quality, but very cold fragrance. I don't get lots of warmth with this one. And also, incense fragrances are a little more, you know, challenging to wear. This to me is like a leathery, churchy kind of an experience. You know, it's nice. I don't hate this fragrance. It's just sometimes I have to like really be in the mood to wear incense fragrances. This does smell quite nice because this is much brighter. And this is a lot darker and colder. So contrasted with that, my nose getting used to the Fleur de Desert, this Nuit de Faux smelling much better. Yeah, it's a great fragrance. It's just number 4 in my series of these darker bottle Middle Eastern style fragrances. And of course, Fleur de Desert, I just mentioned it to you. It's definitely very, very floral with lots of jasmine, definitely lots of rose, and the orange blossom is here as well. And on me, in comparison to on the strip, is not as beachy, but there's definitely kind of a beachy quality, like a tropical floral kind of an experience with like a beachiness. Not as much oud though. It's not really an oudy kind of a fragrance. I feel like the Fleur de Desert you can also layer perfectly with Les Sables Roses. I think they would layer really nicely together. I'm not sure about Ombre Nomade though. That's definitely I'm not 100% sure. I had to test that out. But for me, thinking about Les Sables Roses and also Fleur de Desert, I think those would layer well. So number 4, Nuit de Faux. Number 3, Fleur de Desert. Les Sables Roses is still my favorite, my second favorite. And finally, at number 2, it's Les Sables Roses. As I was saying, to me, this is a rose explosion, and I think that's why I feel like this would layer really well with Fleur de Desert because it has a complementing note. It's just not going to clash. Plus, Fleur de Desert is definitely powdery, whereas Les Sables Roses is more creamy, smooth, and also watery. There's definitely kind of a watery, aquatic presence in this particular fragrance, so it would marry really nicely with the Fleur de Desert. But Les Sables Roses feature Centifolia Rose Absolute, Bulgarian Rose Essence, Oud Wood, Ambergris, Black Pepper, Saffron. So there's definitely a watery, aquatic presence in this particular fragrance. As I said, it does get a little marine, very, very lightly marine, but it's actually really, really gorgeous. It smells really, really fantastic. It's an overdose of roses for sure, and that Centifolia rose experience comes in pretty prominently here. So it's ambery in the dry down, it's lightly oudy. This particular fragrance, Les Sables Roses, in comparison to Ombre Nomade, is less oud, more rose, and I think that's why they both layer really nicely together as well. I mean, Ombre Nomade is a beast. It smells really, really great. He's done a great job with it. It's a great, great designer oud. Pricey, but really, really great. And that's why Ombre Nomade is my #1 favorite fragrance in this dark Middle Eastern kind of bottle of fragrances collection. Oud wood, benzoin, incense, and raspberry are the notes that they credit for this one. There's definitely, you know, smoky touches and really, really oudy touches in here. Lightly sweetness a little bit from that benzoin. It's a resin, so you have a resinous touch. Lightly sweet and vanillic with that as well. And then that raspberry comes in lightly, very, very lightly fruity. I'm sensitive to raspberries, and in here I think they have a right amount of it. You know, I also get like saffron-y touches, a little leathery touches, and a little light smoky touches with this particular fragrance as well. I think we're getting the smokiness from the oud. It's lightly animalic. It's very wearable. It's a great scent. It's really, really great, and I think it deserves the #1 spot in this collection. I'm not talking about the clear bottles, only the dark bottles. And the two together really, really nicely layering, because since there's a tiny, tiny bit of rose in Ombre Nomade, and you know how rose and oud are a great, you know, complementing notes. They make a lot of fragrances with those two notes. That's why I feel like Les Sables Roses really marries beautifully with the Ombre Nomade. You know, the rose is getting amplified, and then the oud connects with it. So they do layer well together. I'm just not sure if Ombre Nomade will layer well with the Fleur de Desert. I'd have to do a test to see, but maybe it does. I just feel like the NUIT is the only one that I don't think would layer perfectly with the other fragrances. Although, now that I think about it, I think NUIT would layer fine with Les Sables Roses. I think it would. It would brighten up NUIT to make it a little more attractive to wear for me. Because, as I said, I don't have an easy time wearing NUIT. I won't have to be in a mood for it. So I think the Les Sables Roses would actually marry perfectly with NUIT. But anyway, those are my thoughts on this collection, and of course Fleur de Desert. I'll put this to test more and come back and report back in different videos for you guys. But have you tried Fleur de Desert yet? Are you a fan of it? Do you enjoy it? Or have you been wanting to find out about it or curious to discover it and waiting for me to talk about it? But I do like it. It's not #2, it's #3, but you know, maybe, you know, after a while it might move up. Who knows? But yeah, it smells great on me. It's definitely powdery though. There's like, as soon as I smelled it, lots of powder, very, very powdery. And you know, now that it's settling on my hand, the beachiness is a little more amped up. Not as much as the strip was, but it's a little more amped up on my hand now that it's settled a little bit. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this collection and Fleur de Desert. What are your thoughts on this collection and Fleur de Desert? Let me know. Put some comments down so I can find out. Either way, guys, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.